All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Riverview Credit Union Mid-Ohio Valley Entrepreneurship Expo at Marietta College. I'm Dr. Jacqueline Khorassani, Director of Entrepreneurship Program at Marietta College. Today is a very special day because today is all about PioBiz competition. PioBiz is a 3-round competition. It's a business startup competition that's open to Marietta College students and their partners. Today's competition was originally scheduled for April 16, 2020. However, due to unscheduled arrival of COVID, we had to postpone this round of competition to today. This is the 3rd round of the competition. Today we have 4 competitors with us, and they are going to start presenting their ideas. Our judges were instructed to allocate up to $10,000 among the top 3 business ideas based on some factors such as the quality of the business plan, the quality of presentation, the Q&A, the degree to which the idea is feasible, and the likelihood of success, and also the amount of money that each competitor needs to get this thing going. This is not an easy decision for the judges. They have a lot of responsibilities. Now, one more thing I want to say is that awards exceeding $1,000, so anybody that wins more than $1,000, his or her award will be distributed over time, not immediately, but over time, depending on progress he or she makes toward putting his or her business plan into action. So I think I'm done talking, and I am going to mute myself and invite Hannah McKain to the stage to make her presentation. Hannah?
Hello, so my name is Hannah McKain. My business is called Focused Fitness, and it is a personal training business. So I'm a Marietta College student. I'm a sophomore and I'll graduate in 2023. My major is entrepreneurship, and I'm minoring in marketing and legal studies. I am an ISSA certified personal trainer and in group fitness as well. So what is my business? It is a specialized personal training as well as strength and conditioning within schools and sports teams, and also larger businesses. And then right below is my website. And then to the left, that's a picture in one of the spin classes that I teach. First off, my mission statement is the work that you do is the outcome of your successes. So basically what I am doing is one-on-one personal training, sports specific training, and group fitness classes. So my target market would be beginners, people that are new to the fitness industry, not really sure what they're wanting to gain from it or where to start. Athletes that are already, very experienced, but wanting some strength and conditioning practice as well. And then just groups wanting fitness classes in general. Group classes are really popular right now. Everything being from in-person to online has actually really skyrocketed the amount of clients for personal trainers because it's having to be online. People have realized, I don't have to go to a gym to work out, especially with a personal trainer. Some people don't want to have, all eyes on them when they're working out. A lot of personal training apps are pre-recorded subscriptions, which can sometimes be something that people don't want. It just draws them away when you get an app and you see that you have to pay $15.99 a month or a week to have access to the training videos. Also, having and using equipment. I do not use very much equipment at all, if any. I actually have a picture of a personal training paper right here with goals and routines on them, which is another thing that draws people away. It can be kind of intimidating to be handed a paper with like a routine of something that you're supposed to do in the gym and you're not exactly sure what to do with it. So what is the problem? Repetitiveness. Going to the gym every day on your own can be very repetitive. The everyday gym feel, just going in there, kind of having your set routine and not changing it up. Overexerting muscle groups within a good strength and conditioning program. And then lack of time for people who work a 9-to-5 job that would like to exercise ideally, but just really don't have time to go to the gym. So my competitive advantage would be that I am certified. I have broad training scenarios, so I am certified in group fitness, personal personal training, which can take me really far. Individualized locations, I'm not set in a location right now because I still am in college, so I will travel. I am younger and I know a lot about what people are wanting online, in person. I don't have a set location. As I just said, I'll travel while still in college, and then later I plan to get a location to have a studio. I will do Zoom sessions. I currently have Zoom sessions right now that I'm doing, and I don't use much equipment. If any, I use basic free weights and some yoga mats. And then obviously for spin classes, I do have bikes that I use, but right now I go to a gym that I am employed at. Like I said earlier, COVID-19 is working for my business as people seem to really like the online personal training. That has not stopped my business from moving ahead. Personal training is very in. People are wanting group fitness classes. It seems to push them a lot with their friends, and it can be fun to go to a kickboxing class with some friends and be pushed by all the people in the room. People wanting to get fit, but not in public. Like I said earlier, people going into gyms, it can be kind of overwhelming if you're going into a new place and you don't know how to use machines or you don't know where to start. Also, not wanting a membership. Me personally, I don't have a membership anywhere. I don't like monthly payments. That can be another turnoff for people. And then motivation from another peer. So as a personal trainer, I would be the biggest motivator, but also within group classes, you have motivation from peers all around. And then to the left, this is a picture of one of my social media advertisements for my spin classes. I am certified. I am a college student and I market within the school, which has actually done really well for me. A lot of people have seemed to be interested in fitness classes. I already have gotten clients and I am still working on just gaining even more clients throughout the community and the school. I have good reviews from word of mouth and online social media marketing. I will go to places for group training. I'll go to hospitals, schools, business offices, nursing homes, etc. I'm open for anything. Group training does happen to be my favorite, so that is exciting for me. One-on-one training will be $35 per hour. Group fitness classes are $10 per person. Sports teams are $75 a session for 2 hours, and that is the sport team as a whole. The coach, or if it's through the school, they would just pay $75 per session. And then sports-specific one-on-one training is $50 for 2 hours. So my projected income for 2 years is that I have planned to make around $7,000 within my business in the first 2 years, because I am just getting started up and I still am in college and balancing my social life, work life, and school life all at once. So I don't plan on making a ton more than $7,000 within my first 2 years. These are just some pictures for my proof of concept. This is in the gym that I work at for spin classes. And then right here, this is my logo for my website. And then these are some social media videos that I posted on my social media account just over quarantine, kind of as like a motivational, like an everyday workout, just small clip. And then I would have some kind of motivational saying with it. And then this is just goes through my website real quick so you can get a feel for how it is. It is based off of Calendly. So every time that someone does make an appointment with me, it goes straight to my email. And then I have a Calendly calendar that goes with the subscription, and it gives them notifications when they made an appointment with me, and then it also goes to me. So it's super nice, and this just kind of walks you through how you would make an appointment. This is probably one of the best investments I've made so far. And payments also can be done right online as well. So that makes it easy too. And there it's scheduled. And I got an email right after that telling me. So what would I do with award money? Immediate things that I would do would be marketing and social media. That can definitely be expensive, but it's extremely necessary, especially in the era that we're in, where everyone is on social media. I think that it's the best way to market yourself. So I would put around $200 with that. I would invest in some mats and free weights, just around $500. I wouldn't need a ton for that because I don't use them constantly. I would just like to have a set. A vehicle for traveling, because I am opening myself up to travel rather than people come to me. I think that that will help a lot of people not wanting to leave work and go to a gym, or I think that it just helps a lot. if you're going to them. I would also file for LLC, which is around $150 for my state, and then reimbursement for myself for $900, which was for my certification, totaling up to $6,750. In the future, I would like a rental space for my group classes, just a one-room studio apartment, which is averaged around $475 per month for 1 year, totaling $5,700. I would like to have mirrors to place all around the room, equaling $430. And then bikes for spin class. For 15 bikes, it would be $2,475. I was actually really surprised by that. That's not a bad price for 15 bikes. And then larger quantities of equipment to keep in a rental space for $2,000, just to keep in that studio apartment, totaling at $10,605. And that's what I would like to do in the future. I would love to have a studio apartment for kickboxing classes, spin classes, a place so that if there is a group that we would have a place to go. But right now I am working in the gym that I work at for group classes.
Let's move on to Leah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leah Seaman, and I am the sole artist, founder, and CEO of ArtaBella. Before I begin this presentation, I'd like to take a moment to extend a heartfelt thank you to all the individuals listed at the bottom of this slide. Without their time, mentorship, and support, I would not be here as a studio art major competing in a business competition. So thank you. I would also like to clarify that all the artwork you're about to see in this presentation are examples of my personal work. I will use any opportunity possible to do any sort of shameless self-promotion. So I hope you enjoy. So let's get started. As I said, my name is Leah. I come from a small town, Philippi, West Virginia. I am currently a senior here at Marietta College, studying a double major in communication studies and studio art with a minor in leadership. And I've been an artist for the past 8 years, starting when I was in 8th grade. Let me tell you a little bit more about ArtaBella. It's a fine arts company with a vision and a mission to create beautiful, detailed, intricate pieces that are affordable for the everyday person. My goal is to make sure that my patrons are not breaking the bank when they're investing in work that they would be proud to look at and hang up in their homes, in their businesses, in their offices every single day. My products fall under 3 different categories: personal work, commissioned work, and customized jackets. Personal work means that it is things that I'm coming up and creating with as an artist. It's the pieces that I submit to galleries, it's series that I do, it's prints that I make of my personal designs, things that come from my imagination. Commissioned work is my most common source of income at the moment. Patrons will bring ideas, photos, concepts to me, and then we work together and collaborate to create a beautiful masterpiece or whatever they're thinking of having done. I've painted portraits, done dog images, I've painted on shoes, you name it, I have probably participated in creating it. And my final branch of revenue that I have recently gotten into exploring is customized jackets. And you can see a few of the examples of my work behind me. What patrons do is they'll bring me their jackets and then we collaborate to come up with a design and an aesthetic that really fits their personality and that they would be proud to wear out in the world. And then I get to translate that using acrylic paints onto the back of their clothes. So when they walk outside, they know they're wearing something that nobody else in the world has. Some of the problems that I believe I'm addressing with these products is providing a unique outlet for self-expression. My products, because they are so personalizable and customizable, offer my patrons a chance to take full autonomy, not only of their wardrobe, but of their living spaces, so that they're truly expressing to both themselves and the world the kind of personality and aesthetic they'd like to form. My products are also affordable. As I mentioned in my vision and mission statement, my goal is not to break the bank with these pieces. I hope that my patrons feel like they don't have to be millionaires to commission me to do a work of art, and that they are confident knowing that the pieces that they receive are done with excellence and with care and dedication. A final problem that my products address is personalized gifts. Sometimes it can be really stressful trying to make sure you show up to the birthday party with the best gift possible. And when you can get a drawing of a grandma done or of your favorite pet and bring that to your friend's birthday party, you've instantly won that competition. My products provide a chance to bring back cherished memories, connect the giver and the receiver in a very unique way. And my products also last a lifetime and stay beautiful from the moment they're created till forever. So what do I believe qualifies me to be an artist? Well, as I mentioned, for the past 8 years, I've been doing this work. I've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of different people doing hundreds of different projects. I've painted murals, I've painted on the front of a barn, I've painted a school bus. I'm even in the process of collaborating with a published artist to work on illustrating a children's book, which is so exciting, and I can't wait to continue to get into that. And in the past 4 years, my work has begun to pick up attention. I've had the honor of being exhibited twice now in the West Virginia Department of Arts, Culture, and History, once in 2019 for their juried exhibit, and once this year in their 2020 Emerging Artists exhibit. I've also been exhibited at the Marietta College Juried Student Show, where I've won multiple awards. And about a year ago, I had the amazing opportunity to study abroad in the art capital of the world, Florence, Italy. And it was in Florence that I finally discovered my passion and my drive to become an artist, and it's where I gained my confidence. At the end of the semester, I had the unique opportunity to display my work internationally at the Lorenzo de' Medici Student Art Show, which was so much fun to do. Because I decided that I wanted to go into art full time, I figured it was time to start recording the sales that I've made and really start documenting that data to use not only for this competition, but also just for myself to help me as a startup business. And what really surprised me about 2020 was that even in the midst of COVID-19, even in the midst of an economic crash, my sales have never been better. I was working from 6 a.m. till 11 p.m. every single day working on orders, and I was loving it. I was shocked by the amount of support that came through my work, even in the midst of such chaos. From January 2020 till now, I have sold an average of 63 products, 65% of which were commissioned work, 14% personal work, and the rest were graduation caps and jackets. This accumulated an actual revenue of about $7,500, and I only spent about $300 on the cost of these goods, which resulted in a gross profit margin of about 96%, and my net profit margin is very strong at 80%. But 2020 isn't over yet, and I am projecting to bring in a projected revenue of about $9,000. This was because I currently have a waiting list of 25 patrons who are waiting for me to get finished with the semester. About half of them have asked me to do Christmas commissions. And so with half of 25, I'm projected to make about $9,000 this year. And I'd like to just take a moment to reiterate why I am so enthusiastic about this business and why I'm so confident. Even in the midst of COVID-19, even in the midst of economic chaos, I managed to take $300 of my personal funds and turn it into $7,500 in actual revenue. I can only imagine the amount of revenue I could bring in if I were able to have access to $10,000 in fund, and if I was able to fully devote all of my time towards building my business instead of doing school part-time and the business. These are some testimonials of previous clients that I've worked with, because I pride myself on making sure that I am never sending out a product that I am not 100% satisfied with. And they sense that, they know that. And so they've given a lot of feedback saying the work that I do is amazing and that they would highly recommend it, that they are seeing the amount of passion that I'm putting into each piece to make sure it's special for them. So how do I determine my pricing? Well, with art, pricing is a little bit difficult to do general prices. There's a lot of different factors that play into it. Because of my 8 years of experience, I've been able to, through trial and error, determine the different factors that help me figure out what my set prices are. In addition to considering the value of my time, if a patron brings a commission to me, I consider four things before quoting a price: the size of the piece, the surface I'm working on, the subject matter, whether it's simple or difficult, and the medium I'm using. Oil is my most expensive medium, graphite is my cheapest. And because I've been doing this for so long, I have a pretty good understanding of how long it takes me to do each piece on average. So I can generally quote my customers a price right there on the spot. And below you'll see just kind of the average prices that customers tend to lean towards. Paintings between $150 to $300 and drawings between $50 to $150. So very affordable work that are honestly very high quality. Based on both research and just personal experiences these past 8 years, these are some of the target markets that I have identified who really lean towards my work. Are female identifying individuals between the ages of 20 to 60. They usually have a household income of between $50,000 to $80,000, and they belong to larger families. They're parents, they're actively invested in their children's lives, and they're also pet owners. The pet industry is huge for me, and I do a lot of portraits every year of doggos and cats. These women are generally into craft culture. They're very into Pinterest, into customization. They really love having a say in the kind of gifts and kind of items that they are receiving and paying for. Groups that I often work with as an artist are couples. Anniversaries are huge for me. Valentine's Day, I'm usually fairly busy, and also holiday shoppers. As I said earlier, I currently have a waiting list of 25 patrons, about half of which are Christmas shoppers. And I fully plan on capitalizing that every single year. Special occasion shoppers are also very big for me. These are retirements, Father's Day, Mother's Day. I recently did a $300 1,500-pound mill saw for a Father's Day present. It was so much fun. The kinds of people who are drawn to my work are tastemakers. These are eclectic individuals who are bold and brave and not afraid to step out and really explore with what their aesthetic is. They love using vibrant colors, visual imagery that really expresses who they are. Gift givers are also another demographic that really love my work because of how customizable it is and how you can really have complete control over the product at the end of the day and still have confidence that the result is going to be beautiful. So here's a little bit of a market analysis, just telling you what's been going on before COVID happened. The beautiful thing about ArtaBella is I've managed to identify a niche within the art world and the fashion world that I fully plan on capitalizing on in the next few years. The art market is this $64 billion industry globally, and within the United States alone, $5.9 billion of that revenue is through online sales, which is perfect for me as a business that does majority of my sales through social media and through the internet. Because of this rise in participatory culture where clients are wanting to actively engage one-on-one with the seller, I've been able to increase my sales because I'm letting customers know who I am as an artist and as a producer. The fashion market is also another large industry, and because of the rise in demand for eco-friendly fashion, my handmade jackets, which recycle and refurbish old jackets, really speak to this desire a lot more. Some of the competition that I have identified that I will be facing is other social media artists who are honestly trying to get on the grind as much as I am. And the trick to staying ahead of the game is just to keep on top of trends, continuously post consistent feedback, and just stay on top of visually pleasing content. Independent artists who are painting handmade jackets do kind of the same avenue as I do, but they're painting a lot more generic images. As you can see from this example on the screen, it's a lot more graphic, digitized kind of imagery, whereas mine are much more detailed and much more vivid, and that is a niche that I plan on exploring more. And finally, Etsy is a competitor that I would have to face, and because of their brand recognition, it can be intimidating. But I am of the firm philosophy that if you can't beat them, you join them. So I fully plan within the next year to develop my own Etsy shop and begin carving out a space for my work within that organization. I've developed a three-pronged marketing strategy to promote my work using social media, a website, and promotional marketing and organic marketing. My website will be the foundational base of ArtaBella, where I'll be selling prints, commissions, where customers can get in touch with me if they'd like to collaborate. And I'll be using my social media to direct patrons and potential interested customers to my website. I currently have an Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok that I'm using successfully. I have also developed promotional material that I use just kind of as an extra touch to make sure my clients really remember working with me and enjoy the process. Organic marketing is also really useful for my business. Anytime a client wears a jacket, I call them my walking billboard. It's really, really useful. These are some of the current marketing tools I have used. I developed my Facebook and Instagram pages in April, and since that short period of time, I've already grown over 500 followers for both pages, my Instagram at 750 followers, and I fully plan to continue to devote time to build that following once I've graduated. And these are examples of my promotional material that I am currently using, the things that I send with each piece when it's completed to just kind of add that extra touch. So should I win this prize, what will I do with it? The first $4,700 will go towards covering the initial cost of startup. This is growing my inventory, licensing and fees, purchasing the shipping supplies I need to protect each piece. The majority of the prize, however, will be devoted towards covering future costs so that I'm not having to draw on my own personal income and using any of ArtaBella's funds, and can instead use the prize money as a financial cushion from which to explore. I plan on bringing in additional contracted support to help support my business in areas that I am not always strongest, to ensure that I'm not burning out trying to cover all ends of this business all the time. And this is just a little example of the financial projections that you have seen in my business plan. This is drawn from my 2020 sales, and as you can see, with the help of this prize, my sales increases incrementally. I will be dividing my net income amongst owner's draw, bringing in about 80% for my own personal salary. About 10% will go back into my company, and another 10% will go towards my Roth IRA retirement fund. Because if 2020 has taught me anything, it is that you must always be prepared for the future. So even as an artist, I'm going to prepare for the future. So if I don't win this funding, what happens is I continue with this work because I'm committed. As I said earlier, this is the career that I want to go into. But it'll be much more difficult for me to do so because I won't have that financial cushion from which to begin exploring. I'll have to pay myself less money and use whatever income I am bringing in to cover shipping costs and cover the supplies and startup costs. It will take me a lot longer to start running than I personally would like to wait. If I do receive this funding, however, I will be going right out of the gate into this business. I have so many plans, so many ideas I plan to expand into, and this prize would be the financial foundation that I need to pursue a full-time career as an artist. Being an artist is one of the greatest loves of my life. I've been doing this for 8 years, but honestly, it's been an entire life career. It's my superpower, honestly. Bringing joy to people is something I love. And I would like to invite all of you to join me on my mission to turn my passion and my career into a full-time career. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chloe, are you ready?
So my name is Burianek. I'm a sophomore here at Marietta College. Currently, I'm a double major in graphic design and strategic communications. Today, I will be presenting my business, Rolling Scotty Photo Services. And below is all of my social media and ways you can contact me. And then this is also an example of an event that I did earlier this summer. So what exactly is Rolling Scotty Photo Services? It's basically a photo booth with a twist. I took a 1969 Sarah Scotty camper and completely redid it. It's not even recognizable. We turned it into a photo booth. And when I say we, it was my parents and I who helped me so much throughout this process. So I'm extremely grateful for that. But it offers a unique option for photo booths and a cute and trendy way for people to document their memories. And then here's an example of just like a template with me and my parents in the photo booth. So the problem that I am solving is that there's a lack of documentation of milestones. People are always wanting to have events or memories documented, and this just offers another unique way of doing it. You can obviously hire a regular photo booth, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what sets me apart from other photo booths is that it is in a camper, and it's cute, it's trendy, it's unique. And if you're ever in like a competition, which you might not realize it, but I feel like internally everyone is sort of like who's gonna have the best event, and having a photo booth in a camper, I think that is just really cool. So my target audience is couples that are getting married for weddings, graduates for graduation parties, soon-to-be parents for baby showers, parents who have kids for birthday parties, even event coordinators. And what I mean by this is event coordinators typically put together local events, parties, anything. This would cover anything left out. And then also schools for school events, whether it just be like a fun day for people to just gather, or it could be a dance such as prom or homecoming. So my qualifications, this is a business ready business, meaning that in the spring when PioBiz was originally supposed to happen, I wasn't ready to launch my business. But with COVID and not being able to do much other than be at home, I took advantage of that and decided to finish my business in the spring. So that's exactly what I did. So my resources, it's already a set up business. I have my LLC, it's already set up. I've had an event. Unfortunately, I only got to have one event this year just because of COVID, and the event industry is somewhat crashed at this point. And there's a limit on, how many people can be there and how many feet they have to be apart, which has really made it hard because my camper is about 6 feet wide and the requirements is to be 6 feet apart. So it's been hard for sure, but I'm gonna power through. The resources that I'm still looking for to continue to grow my business would be a vehicle, just because currently I'm using my dad's truck and that's not always going to be an option. And then a lawyer for contract skills. I currently don't have any contracts. I did talk to a lawyer in the spring about potentially helping me with contract writing. It did not go any further than that, just because I wasn't sure if I was going to get events this summer. And so some similar products that would be a competitor would be just a general photo booth. And what I mean by that is it's like a pop-up tent almost like, and they'll bring their setup. It's basically everything except for the camper. And again, this sets me apart because it's a unique, fun way of documenting your memories. And then photography. Obviously, you can hire a photographer, but those might be a little bit more professional and you're not going to be able to show like everyone's true personality. I've witnessed it myself when people get into the photo booth. They truly let let their character come out. They have these crazy props on and they just let their character show. So it really documents who people are. So some of my advantages that I have over others is that it's unique, it travels, and it's easy setup. Currently, I'm a little bit outside of Pittsburgh, but I plan to work in the tri-state area just because I'm so close to that, but I'm also willing to travel around, and depending on how many miles away would have to incorporate gas charging on that. And then for easy setup, for the one event that I had this summer, it took about an hour to set up, so it's not a super time consuming process. It's basically just unpack and make it look pretty. Feasibility, I have most resources already. There are a few that I'm still looking for, but like I said before, this is already an up and running thing. I've been marketing it during the summer, and hopefully I'm going to have a lot more this fall. I have experience with events, also photography. While I was in high school, I was a wedding photographer's assistant, so I did get to work with, a photographer and got to see like how events were run, but I also had the chance to work with people who owned photo booths, so I got to see that side of it too. My revenue will be based on package options that I have listed later in the presentation. People will have the option to pick what package fits their event best. I'm able to market my business to people who really want to document their milestones. It's okay if you have like just phone pictures, but it makes it so much more fun and exciting when it's a hard copy, or like I even offer digital versions of the print, so even that, it just looks cuter and it's more fun. You get more of an experience out of it. As far as customer interest goes, I've talked with a lot of people. My community has been so supportive of this. I've got a lot of reach for people around the Pittsburgh area who said that this is a great idea, that they would love to use it for future events, and even talking with other event coordinators. Unfortunately, this summer I was in contact with an event coordinator, and due to the restrictions that were in place at the time, they couldn't have the photo booth there. But of course, in the future, they said that they would always refer back to me, but it just wasn't available at the time. And then of course, friends and family have always showed interest in this. As far as my pricing packages, I have 3 main packages, and then in between those packages, I have 3 other options. If you were to book the photo booth with a print, which is meaning that you get 2x6 print that goes home with all of your guests. So 3 hours would be $399, 5 hours would be $599, 7 hours would be $799, and you have the option to add a scrapbook for $100, meaning that I would provide a scrapbook, and whenever I print out a photo strip, it actually comes into, it prints on a 4x6 piece of paper, and I cut it in half. So there's 2x6 options. One of those would go to the scrapbook, and then anyone in that picture would be able to sign it, and it makes it more memorable. You can see all of your guests and see what they have to say about your event and you. My next option is a photo booth with digital files. This would be a little bit cheaper just because you don't have to pay for the printer media, which is pretty expensive. 3 hours would be $325, 5 hours would be $525, 7 hours would be $725, and then you have the option to add a digital gallery of all of your guests' photos for the evening into one big gallery and share with your guests as well. Another option, which I thought would be unique, I'm not currently sure if this would be a huge market option just because I haven't been able to do a lot of events, but would be prop rentals, meaning like if a high school needed props, or a local theater, or honestly just anyone, if they needed to rent props, they have the option to rent props because I do have them on hand. And so this would just give me another way to make an extra income. So 5 hours would be $200, 10 hours would be $300, and 24 hours would be $500. And then obviously making arrangements for how pickup and drop off times would work. And that has to do with how many hours they book for. Another thing that I offer is custom photo strips for events, which I think is really cool. This was
the event that I did in the summer. It was a graduation party, so it was pretty simple. She didn't request a lot. She just wanted something that said like congratulations. You can also see that my logo is on it. I just want to continue to keep my logo on there because when people take these strips home, they're always going to see my logo, and I'm going to remind them that they had an amazing experience with that. It's really important to me that I do keep my logo on there, but also be able to create a really cool photo strip that matches their event. And you can see that there are some pretty unique props in here. This is my friend and I who helped me so much this day. As far as financials go, currently I have invested about $8,000 into this business. It's been hard just because I haven't been able to make a profit back yet, but I was able to determine pricing based on 3 different options. One being my area, photo booths in the Pittsburgh area and what they're charging, my level experience. I feel like I'm not able to charge people as much as I would like just because I am still starting out and I've never done a photo booth before. Later in the future, I would love to increase my prices, but I just don't feel comfortable doing that yet. The amount that I have invested into my business so far, which brings me to the break-even expectation. So if you would have told me in February that I wasn't going to make a profit within my first 6 months of business, I would have been terrified. But my break-even expectation right now is June of 2022, only because this is a part-time business for me, so I will be doing this on the weekends. Currently, I am obviously still in school, but even later in life, I choose to just keep this as a part-time business. But the reason why it's so late and it's not within the first year is just because of COVID, and the event industry is on a standstill right now. I know that some people are able to get back in. It just depends on your location and how you're prepared. And I think that I have prepared as much as I can.
Thank you so much, Chloe. Let's move on to Karson.
Hello, everyone. I think my volume's working. My name is Karson Snyder. I am a senior finance major and entrepreneurship minor, and my business idea and the business I hope to start after college is Hidden Talents and Athletic Recruiting Service. So first off, what is an athletic recruiting service? Athletic recruiting service helps high school athletes gain exposure to college coaches. They do this by building connections to help the athletes reach their goals, to help the high school athletes reach the next level. An athletic recruiting service should take over the recruiting process, but some of the competitors do not do this. So the problem within the athletic recruiting industry is that there's thousands of athletes that are striving to play at the next level but do not get the opportunity to. The competitors in the market charge an overpriced fee for these athletes, which ends up discriminating against athletes from lower income families. Another problem that the competitors do is that they are more interested in personal profit rather than the athlete's goals. And then the third problem within the industry is that these competitors lock athletes and their families into a long-term subscription. The solution and what I hope to provide with Hidden Talents is a model that is a $100 per month subscription-based model that you can cancel at any time. I want to make it that way. So for example, if I help your son or daughter find their dream college within 2 months, it is completely unfair of me to continue to make them pay for another 10 months for a year-long subscription when they do not need that. I want to make this so it's more affordable for athletes of every income. And then I plan to completely take over the recruiting process for athletes so that they can just focus on playing the sport that they're in love with, and I will take care of the rest. So looking at the competitive analysis, NCSA is the leader in the industry right now, and they have the majority of the market share. Their pricing model is a long-term subscription. It used to be $100 a month, and now it has changed to $150 a month, but you must commit to a full year. An example of this is the roommate I live with here that plays basketball at Marietta College used NCSA out of high school, and they charged him $150 per month for 12 months, and he only used the service for 5. After the 5th month, he had committed to Marietta College and no longer needed their service, but there was no way out of it. The next two, under-recruited prep and be recruited, are very similar. They use a tier-based pricing model, which basically is they offer a bronze, a silver, and a gold. And each one, price goes up, and you also get more benefits. So the way they market it is that you should actually pay for the gold, and you will receive their full service. The bronze is $50, the silver is $100, and the gold is $150 a month. And it is also a long term. It's not as long as NCSA. They commit you to 3 months or 6 months, which is a little bit better, but still completely unfair. The final company on here is Court 14. Court 14 is a an athletic recruiting company that is from my hometown, and they reached out to me when I was in high school to try to get me to use their service. They wanted to charge me a one-time fee of $2,500, which just really isn't feasible for any family in the United States. So now, after talking about pricing, all three of these companies, NCSA, Under Recruited Prep, and Be Recruited, all use a website-based model. This is a screenshot from NCSA, who's the leader in the market. And this is their whole business idea. They develop a website that is interactive for college coaches to come and look at. And then they create the website so the athlete can have a picture of themselves, their attributes, some highlight tapes, and then some personal statements about themselves. The athlete can go in and edit their highlight film or edit their personal statements, and the website the company doesn't really mess with the website that much. So they expect college coaches to come and look at these websites. And if you take a look at the top right corner of my screen, you can see the options that it gives the coach. The coach has the option to track this athlete, email the athlete, or click not interested. And this is the only way that they reach out to college coaches. They don't reach out themselves or help them find camps. This is their only avenue for the athletes. So moving on to what the competitors lack. The first thing I realized that the competitors lack is credibility. The majority of these employees that work for these competitors haven't actually went through the recruiting process. They're simply just salesmen who are trying to sell this long-term contract to the athlete and their families. And that leads me to the next thing. They are not interested in personal relationship. Once they get you to commit to that long-term contract, they aren't interested in continuing a relationship with the athlete or the family. They don't actually have the athlete's best interest in mind. They are not interested if the athlete finds a good school or a bad school, or if it's a good fit or not. The next thing is flexibility, and I just talked about that with the screenshot I shared. They only use one avenue to promote the athletes when there are many avenues that can be used to really help the athletes. And the final thing is affordability. As I mentioned on the prices of three major competitors within the industry, they just really are not that affordable. When they are, it's for a 12-month process, so it ends up turning into an actual investment. So I completed a market research to kind of compare my business to the competitors. So what it was a study of 70 college coaches. Coaches included sports of basketball, football, soccer, and baseball. And then I asked each coach 3 questions. Would or have you used an athletic recruiting service when you recruit athletes? Do you go to recruiting sites to look for athletes to recruit? Would you look at film or talk to a recruiting agent if they reached out to you personally about an athlete? Here are the results I came up with. So question 2 represented the business model of the other services that use websites to promote their athletes. Question 3 represented my business model, hidden talents, that I want to go away from the industry norm and bring these athletes to the coaches personally. The results for question 2, which was competitors, was 91% of those coaches answered no to question 2, referring that they would not use the competitor service and then that they do not go on their free time to go to websites to look for athletes. Now, in comparison to that, 95% answered yes to question 3, referring that they would use hidden talents and would email back a recruiting service that reached out to them, but they just do not have the free time or the will to go look for athletes themselves. So I conclude from this, going away from the industry norm and giving these athletes a different avenue to reach college coaches is one of the main reasons why hidden talents can and will succeed in the market today. So I developed a SWOT analysis for hidden talents. First off is the strengths. The lower price, like I mentioned earlier about the competitors and locking into you a long-time subscription, offering a lower price is a great market penetration for me. And while I might be able to raise it a little bit in the future, I still want to keep it low so that I can still reach the underprivileged families that don't have a great source of income. The second strength is the cancel anytime subscription. Like the example earlier where I said if I help an athlete find their school within 2 months, it is unfair for me to charge them for 10 months. So the lower price and cancel anytime subscription is a more fair way of me offering this service. Another strength I have is the one-man operation. The one-man operation where it's just me, myself, promoting this company and doing this company myself would result in a lot of low overhead, which overhead is one of the biggest threats to startup companies, and I think that is a big strength for my business. Weakness that I found was the market share. Like I mentioned the companies earlier, there's a lot of companies in the industry that already have market share and have credibility. But as I work and develop my company, I believe that I can gain that market share fairly quickly. Now, another weakness I thought of was word of mouth exposure. I found word of mouth exposure that it can be a weakness if I do not provide my service as consistent and as well as I think I can, because word of mouth exposure can be a huge marketing tool. The amount of athletes that want to use a recruiting service or want to play at the next level but just don't have the opportunity to is a ton. The next opportunity is word of mouth exposure. I have this as a weakness and opportunity because I believe if I can execute the service like I know I can, then word of mouth exposure could be my best marketing tool. And the final opportunity is the competitor's lack of interest. Like I've mentioned earlier in the slides, the competitors just really aren't interested in helping the athlete fulfill their dreams and goals and focused on if they can really make it to the next level and what is a good fit and what is not. The competitors and no trademark, I feel that as I continue this and I gain market share, I feel the competitors might try to pick up on this. But when I look at it, there is a lot more hard work in my model than theirs. So that is kind of discredited the threat that I found. So the positioning statement I came up with is hidden talents and athletic recruiting service strives to take over the recruiting process for underexposed and underprivileged high school athletes. With a less expensive but also more effective service than the other competitors in the industry, hidden talents will help athletes fulfill their collegiate goals. The main thing that makes me be able to provide this service is the credibility I have. I was recruited for 2 sports out of high school, and I went through the recruiting process by myself for 2 sports. So I know the ins and outs and did everything myself and have been through the process. The next thing is that I've played 4 years of college basketball here at Marietta. And I think I can use this as also a differentiator thing than the competitors do in the way that I'm not just going to provide my service while they're paying for it. I can continue to give guidance and advice because I've been through the grueling process of what it's been like to be a collegiate athlete. Next thing that makes me credible is the 4 years of academic focus in finance, business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. I think the way I scheduled my academics will be perfect for me in a financial standpoint and entrepreneurial standpoint to be able to provide this business. And then finally, the connections with college coaches and 304 Elite. The connections I made in high school when I was getting recruited for 2 sports, I made sure that I kept up with those connections and I've still talked to them today. So when I graduate, I will be able to have connections already that I can use to start this business. And then finally, the biggest credibility I have is 304 Elite. For you guys that don't know, 304 Elite is the biggest prospect football camp in the state of West Virginia. And I have connected with the CEO and the founder, Dylan Thomas, who runs the camp. It was canceled this summer due to COVID, but I will be working with him this upcoming summer. 2 years ago, he had 150 high school athletes that wanted to play football at the next level come to his camp. Also 70 college coaches that attended to recruit these athletes. I think that is the best possible way that I can jumpstart my business this summer is working that camp with him and having access to 150 athletes and then the opportunity to make a connection with the 70 college coaches.
So my camera is not working. I guess I just broke the camera, but the judges are still in the deliberation room. They take their job seriously, and that's a responsibility. Plus, they have a lot of flexibility. This is not like any other competition that awards or prizes are set. They have to look at a variety of factors to determine the size of each award. Okay, the judges are back. Milt, go ahead.
This was a bit difficult. I do want to say I wish all of you the best. Don't let any of this discourage you. Keep doing what you're doing and keep your businesses going. We wish you all the best success. But as we kind of went through it and delineated everything, coming in at 3rd place, we have Hidden Talents, Karson Snyder. At 2nd place, we have Chloe with Rolling Scotty Photo Services. And for Chloe, we'd like to award $1,500. And coming in at number 1, Leah with ArtaBella. We'd like to award $7,000. And that was the final total of the awards that we determined.
Thank you so much, judges. I know this was difficult. Thank you to all the participants and attendees, and we'll see you next round. Thank you.